Hello and welcome to Will Do Words. We're your hosts,
Carly
and Zoe.
So, we are wrapping it up a little bit. We're coming to the end, unfortunately.
The end of this moment.
Yes,
This
moment, yes. But we will be back for all of the chaos and goodness and doing awesome things.
Yes.
But we are unfortunately wrapping up our time here in Spain together, which is crazy because this year has flown by.
Oh, so fast. I think Spain's going to be glad to see us gone, to be honest.
No. Well, maybe. Just for a
Out
little
my wall, maybe.
Yes.
And the duct tape.
Yes. So in this episode, when we were chatting, even before we had a podcast,
Like in those days.
yes, for long days. Whether it had been before or kind of while we were brainstorming about what we wanted to chat about, I gave you the homework assignment to think about the things that you had learned in this year in Spain. Because I wrote down my list of things that I had learned my first year, and I was really interested to give you that mental exercise, but also to hear about your growth and what you think were some of your key highlights and your points. So we have made lists.
Carly was really nasty and she didn't give me an example to go off.
No,
so
I didn't.
You're going to have to bear with me here, everyone.
Yes, I didn't want to influence, like, oh yeah, okay. And then we'll see at the end if we have any common themes, I imagine, threaded through in. So first, Zoe is going to read her list of things that she learned from the first year, and then I'm going to go through my list, which is a combination of things that I have learned throughout the 3 years being here, and also from the things that I learned my first year. So mine's kind of combined because some of the lessons that I've learned have just kind of continued on. So yeah, let's get started.
Okay, well, this is the abridged version of mine because initially I thought it would be a really cool idea to write it as a story for future me to read. Lo and behold, I probably won't read it, but it will be there in case I want to pass it on to my great-great-grandchildren one day. But as I said, abridged version, so I'll try and keep it nice and short, but still with the context that it deserves. So my first one, and this is coming back to right when I first arrived in Spain, and it's that it's really hard to be open to new things when everything is new. It's like, okay, bear with me here, but it's like when you get thrown into a swimming pool and you don't know how to swim for the first time. It's really hard to be able to just start swimming. Everyone's screaming, you just start swimming! You're like, how do I do that? And I felt that on a spiritual level when I moved here, because everything was new, right? Even going, and I think I spoke about it in the last episode, it wasn't a paralyzing fear by any means, don't get me wrong, but it was just like this, I have to go outside and it's going to be hard. I have to go to the supermarket and it's going to be hard. And I'm a bit of a shy person, and I was the kid at kindy who, do you know what kindy is?
Kindergarten?
Yeah. I was the kid who would hide behind mum and dad's legs.
Oh, yeah, I hid under the bed because I did not want to go to kindergarten.
Yeah, that was me too. And look at us now, halfway around the world. So it was, and that's sort of how I felt when I first got here. It was like, I want someone to hold my hand as I go through this. Fortunately, I did have someone to hold my hand.
Yes.
Very lucky. But you have to have that mental shift of, well, suck it up, Zoe. Everything's new. This has been your dream for 10 years, so just get out there and get stuck in. Saying that, I can hear my dad's voice in the back of my head because that's what he'd say to me for every sailing regatta or whatever it was that I was doing that was a little bit icky. But that leads on to my next point really nicely, is when everything is out of your comfort zone, what does it matter? Because everything's new, everything's scary, so if you make a dick of yourself, it doesn't matter, because no one knows who you are. No one cares who you are. Well, no, they do care who you are, but they don't care if you do something wrong. So that was a really, speaking Spanish, going to a new school, being myself in front of these scary looking teenagers that are all like higher, taller than me and bigger than me, and it's all quite scary. But I kind of checked myself after a bit. I'm like, well, it's kind of, the same thing. Everything's new, everything's new, everything's new. Doesn't matter if they care, if they don't, because you've just got to do it. I'm just trying to analyze my list now to see what comes next logically, and I think I'm just going to read it as it is. So avoiding comparison, and I think again this is probably a big thing. I was in a new country, I was in a new culture, I was in a new language, and my goodness me, the people in Spain, they dress like they're going to the nines every single day of the week. So like even on a visual level, if nothing else, and maybe that was because I didn't have a great grasp on the language and the culture and everything else, but just visually they looked so different. So comparing to other people, I noticed at the start really not damaged me, but it didn't help me in any way, shape or form. And then also comparing to what I had back home. Completely different landscape, and I had a whole life back home. I had a job that I could show up to every day, and I knew exactly what was expected of me. It was all so easy. So I think there was definitely moments where I get down and out because I was thinking about, at home I wouldn't have to do this, at home I wouldn't have to do this, and the age-old adage of comparison is the devil's something or other. Have you heard that one? No? Okay. If you're in the listeners and you know what I'm talking about, please drop comments so I don't feel like a loser. But comparison, right? I'm comparing myself to Carly right now, and I feel like an idiot doing it.
No.
So yeah, I think that was a really big, and it's something that we know, right? You don't compare yourself.
Yeah.
Because it does no good, and it was just sort of. You have to constantly remember these things.
Right. Each person is their own individual world, right?
Yeah.
So,
and you don't know what's going on inside.
Yeah, exactly. You never know what's going on in someone else's life. But with social media and all the world that we're living in it's a little tricky to not.
Yeah, and it's been like seeing what people back home are doing.
Right.
And my friends, I think everyone says this, right? Like my friends are amazing people. They're high achievers. They do really cool stuff. And I had moments, and I know that I talked to you about it. I'm like, how do you navigate this? I've jumped on a plane and flown away from my career halfway around the world, and all of my friends are doing really cool stuff and progressing their careers. So even that comparison that you're on a different path, and that's what I've sort of over the past 8 months I've really made peace with that this is my path, and it looks really different to other people's, and that's okay, because I don't actually want to be like everyone else. Well, I want to speak Spanish like everyone else. Okay, next one for me, number 4, is friends are the family that you choose. And again, I grew up with this. I don't have many actual relatives in New Zealand, so it was definitely friends became our family. But again, being placed in a completely different place away from your family, it's like, oh, well, I need to. And I remember, again, having this thought with myself, well, Zoe, you actually need to, you can be lonely, or you can go and you can make your own family. And so very quickly, I jumped in the group chat with the other Rock City artists that we had, and I said, right, who wants to meet up? And it became a weekly tradition. We meet, and it's just that little piece of connection where you can. I remember we all met after our first day when they said to us, oh, well, you can't come back for work for 2 weeks, and we all freaked out over that together. And it's having those people that you can put your trust in, and I mean that in itself is really hard. This is what I'm worried about. Here you go, and trusting that they're not going to turn around and go, oh well, you're done, and actually listen. But I feel so grateful for the family that I've made here in Spain, because they're gonna walk with me forever. They might not be beside me. I might not see some of them again, but they are the family that I chose for this moment in time, and that will always that's shaped who I am. I've learned so much from them, so that was a really big takeaway for me. especially because I had to do it myself this time. No one was, they were just handed to me, right? I had to put myself out there, and maybe they're not the people that I would normally hang out with, but would I change it? Absolutely not. I already talked about trust. Okay, living where your feet are. I honestly feel like I'm just regurgitating stuff that my parents or people in another generation have told me, to be honest.
You had to learn it for yourself.
Oh,
Halfway across the world.
I can't be told things, guys. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. So again, and I think we've sort of touched on this before with the comparison thing, and I mentioned it. Moving to Spain has been my plan for. It has been my longest existing plan, and this is coming from somebody who comes up with a different plan every day of the week. Sometimes more than one, as my close people can affirm. So for me, it was really difficult. I remember in December, I was saying, well, what am I going to do? What am I going to do in June? And learning that to just cool it and just be where you are and be okay with where you are. Which, ironically, when I was applying for jobs in December for the summer, didn't hear back from any of them, which freaked me out at the time. But it's kind of like learning to trust the process as well. Live where your feet are. Know that whatever's coming is going to come. Regardless of what you do, it's just going to pop up one day. I've had 3 emails this week about job interviews and job positions for jobs in June that I applied for in December.
Oh wow.
And it's just another sign to me, like, okay, I don't need to rush these things. They're going to happen when they're going to happen, and I'm not omnipotent. I can't control everything.
What?
Which leads on really nicely to my next point, which is how to relax. Oh my gosh, we're losing everything here, guys. Our map's coming off. We're leaving the country.
Our map is slowly falling off, as it does in pretty much every episode.
But it's not my side that's falling off this
No, I
time,
know.
guys. It's Carly's side.
Yes.
So Zoe, many, Carly 1.
Yeah.
So my next one is how to relax. I'm a very busy bee, as I alluded to before. I like having lots of plans and doing lots of stuff, and Spain forces you to take a step back and slow down a hell of a lot, because I mean, the whole country shuts down for 2.5 hours every single day of the week. Sundays, everything's shut. Saturdays after 12 p.m. Good luck trying to get anything. So, even how fast people walk.
Yeah.
I mean, they talk 1,000,000 miles an hour, but they walk so slowly.
Yes.
And I'm not a very tall person. Some would call me vertically challenged. So I'm used to pacing it out to try and keep up with the rest of the population. But over here, it's just chill.
Yeah. You go as fast as your feet are gonna go, and your feet are not going fast.
No way, no way. If you put me on a track race against these guys, I could win, because I just go fast.
I'm not particularly a runner, but
No. So that was a really big learn as well, and my partner has shown me lots of videos where it's the eldest daughter syndrome, and the eldest daughter learning to actually not jump up and help straight away, and not do this and not do that. And I think working less hours, living in a more relaxed environment has taught me to just mellow out a little bit. I've still got a lot of work to do on that. And the last one would be like when it's okay to live a little, whether that's with my money, whether that's with my time, whether that's pushing my bedtime out another hour. But I guess it kind of ties into that relaxation part, right? Is let your hair down a little bit, Zoe. Like, okay, you've been saving forever, but you're in Spain. When's the next time you're going to be able to jump on a plane and go to Switzerland for Christmas? So it's a big mind shift. I mean, we don't get paid a hell of a lot here, so learning how to, do I save this money or do I spend it? Do I go, oh well, I have to work at 5 so I can't meet, or do I just make it work? So all that sort of stuff, and I guess that's living in the moment. It's basically, guys, all of my points are about the same thing. Is what I've discovered reading them over again. and it's just living in the moment. And I think my dad's gonna kick me when I go home. Anyways, Carly, I hope you have some more variety here. Otherwise, these guys are gonna get sick of us very quickly.
Before I jump into mine, I just want to say thank you for sharing, and that each point that you went through, like, in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, yes, 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 yes. Everything that you said resonates also on a very deep level. I think it's just the general challenges of living abroad and being abroad and being outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
But I think that also is part of the reason why we've blended so well as friends, you know, because it's like, wow, we're living the same experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you. That was really lovely. And
Thank you for the push to do it.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have thought of it otherwise.
I love it.
I'm normally on the plane typing this out. So I'm before school.
Yes.
Anyways, what have you got for us?
All right.
Pearls of wisdom.
So I would just like to ditto everything that Zoe said.
With just a few less words.
No, I don't know when we'll see how many words I get. My word count might be a little bit longer than yours. We'll see. Okay. So the biggest thing that I've learned, which the lesson was taught in my first year and then has just kept being reiterated through the entire time that I've been here, is ask for help. Just ask for help. Even when you don't think you need it, ask for help. I have one story. The very first time that I learned this lesson, I was boarding the bus from when I was still living in Murcia, in the city capital, and taking the transport every day to and from work to our smaller town. And I was getting on the bus after school one day, and I was in a rush, because obviously, when am I not in a rush? But I put my cell phone in my side pocket, like where you put a water bottle, right, of your backpack. And this gentleman ushered me up to go in front of him, and I was like, oh, thank you, in Spanish, and got on the bus. The man didn't follow me on the bus. I didn't get to my seat, and I knew what had happened, that gut feeling. Like, oh, I don't have my phone. And I was panic searching everything, but I knew what had happened. He had taken it right out of the pocket because it was right on the side, out of that side pocket. So I, halfway through the bus ride, with this pit in my stomach and this like, oh my God, now I don't have a phone. What am I gonna do? Oh my goodness. I got up and I asked the bus driver, I was like, have you seen a phone? This is all in Spanish. This was within my first month of being here, so my understanding and communicating was at a lower level than I would be able to today. And he was like, no. But then the people that were sitting right on the bus around me were like, oh, this has happened before, this has happened. And one person, and then they started talking, and one person got on the phone and actually called the restaurant that's at the bus stop. After a few minutes of chatting back and forth, he turned around to me and he goes, and I was like, it's a blue phone, it had a blue case. He turned around and he goes, your phone's at the bus station. Do you come back here? I go, yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. And he was like, you can pick up your phone in the morning. It's at the bus restaurant. And I was like, oh my goodness, had I not gotten up and asked, not necessarily for help, but asking for something that I needed, to kind of validate this feeling that I was having, that I wasn't losing my mind and listening to my gut, I wouldn't have gotten my phone back. And I don't think there are very many people who come to Spain and get their phones stolen that can say that they've got their phone returned.
Doesn't normally happen.
No, because it is a big thing that happens here, and they warn you time and time again, careful of your phone, careful of your belongings, there's a lot of petty theft here. And I just thought I was in a very small town. This wouldn't happen. Maybe in Barcelona or in Madrid, in some of these bigger cities, but it wouldn't necessarily happen to me. And it did. I asked for help. I got very lucky. But yeah. So, also a life-proof case is my biggest recommendation, because the man couldn't get my phone open. So the people at the bus station saw that he was struggling. They're like, not your phone.
Right, so that's how they got it.
That's how they got it back, because he couldn't get the protector case off because it was so tight, locked tight. So, life-proof case. I love them. And they have saved me from having to rebuy a phone. So anyway, yes. And that lesson has just been repeated and repeated throughout all of my time here. Ask for help even when you don't think you need it, because you never know what's going to come out of that question, right? The worst thing they can say is no, and you move on, and you look for another way. My next is, this kind of touches on my next 2 points, touch on what we talked about earlier of like healing your inner child, right? And going back to those things that make you so happy and that you love to do. That in the process of learning a new language, when you don't necessarily have all the words, that music is a universal language. That feeling and sensation that it transmits goes across borders and cultures and languages. I also feel like very strongly about photos as well. Photos and music, but music for sure is that universal language that kind of can connect us all. That flowing into dancing. Another key point on dancing, something that I love and hold near and dear to my heart. But my first year I started taking a bachata class, which is partner dancing, and I had never danced with another person before. And in this, it let me learn how to let go of control, right? So as the woman, you are not leading.
Yeah.
Right? And for me, I've never danced where I'm not in control and I'm not leading, and I know the steps, but I'm not necessarily I'm not in control, right? So in that sense of like, if you just take a breath and let yourself go and just go with the rhythm of the music and kind of listen in the sense of responding to somebody else who's around you and just going with the flow, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And you learn how to have fun with others, but also yourself. That was a huge thing for me. It's just kind of like taking that breath of release and saying, you know what, I can I can let go. Yeah, I can let go a little bit. And it's going to be fun, and it's going to be okay to let go a little. Okay, my next point. We also touched on this a little bit, but something I think that is really important to reiterate is that I did the most learning and practicing of speaking Spanish when I allowed myself to forget that embarrassment guard up that I had for whatever self-conscious reason, or I'm going to look silly or people are going to judge me. Once I took that guard down and that wall off, I grew, reaching this goal that I had since as long as I can remember. And I learned more and grew more than I could ever have fathomed in these 3 years. But it really is just letting yourself completely immerse, make the mistakes, and it's going to be okay. That's the process of learning, right? So that's a huge one. And I think it's kind of like you said earlier that really resonated, is that you come to this new place, you are a new person for everybody, and how you are and how you are responding to those other people is new. So if there's a part of you that you're like, I'd like to change this or grow upon this sense of my personality or be better in this way, that you're starting fresh. So
what a cool opportunity.
Yeah. Right? So you can go about it in that way, but don't get that guard down. You grow. It's really a really cool thing to see and to feel. My next point, bad things aren't happening to you, but for you.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
So there are moments that are not always very pretty in life, right? I'm just going to say life in general, because it applies to whether you have moved halfway across the world or if you're still in your same neighborhood town, right? Bad things are going to happen. But what you take from that lesson and how you turn it into moving forward, it's not this, why me? But it's how it is changing you for the better and what it's bringing you to next.
That's
right?
such a good point to bring up as well, because it's so hard to bear that in mind when you're in the thick of it and you're
Right.
going through it.
Exactly.
Oh, give me
Yes.
a break.
Yeah, you're like, oh, again, not another thing, right? But it's all makes sense in this big story that we have for our life, but when you're in the tunnel, you cannot see.
No.
You cannot see the light. So something that I was able to reflect on and be like, you know what, okay, like that was really awful, but this is why it had happened.
Silver lining.
Yeah, silver lining. And you might not ever find the why, but just moving through.
It will manifest in life, though.
Yeah.
Even without you realizing sometimes.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like, it
Exactly.
might take 50 years. And
Yeah.
you're like, huh.
Yeah. Next, I have something that is very big in
Love
this
this one.
culture. The sobremesa, which is essentially you eat your meal together with whoever you are eating with, and then you just stay seated around the table. There's no rush, there's no hurry, and there's no expectations, right?
Yeah.
You are not expected to move. You actually are expected to stay there and enjoy yourself.
More longer than you would think as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not like, oh, thank you, let me have my dessert and finish my dessert, now the check. Or if you're in someone's home, like, okay, now I'm gonna go, thank you. It's take this time and enjoy your moment with these people that you're sharing your table with, right? Listen to their stories, listen to the conversations, be a part of them or just absorb them. But not worrying what's coming next and just enjoying staying in your moment, right?
Yeah,
Very similar to what you said. You stay in your moment, stay where your feet are, stay where your butt is, because you really just don't have a choice. You have to stay there.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to, but it's much more enjoyable if you can just take a deep breath out and just relax into your seat, right?
Yeah.
Just enjoy your company. My next point is show up even when it's hard, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes when we don't want to do something, or it's like, oh, I can't, I don't want to do it, not today, I don't feel good, or whatever the case may be, that when you do it, you either learn the most or you enjoy it the most.
Absolutely. That happened to me this weekend. That's such a good point.
Yeah. Just do it. Like Nike, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to show up, and sometimes even just showing up is like the biggest achievement of your day, right? Because sometimes you just don't want to get out of bed.
We've all been there.
Yeah, but it makes a difference, and that's where the learning and growing comes from.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Next, I feel like in all my transitions I'm saying sorry.
I'm gonna put you on a ban.
Yes. So, next, the more you talk about something that you want, the easier it is to achieve. Right? We have this new opportunity to create and better ourselves and tell these people who have no idea who you are, have no context of who you are within your family or what you've studied or anything. You are a blank slate, right? So what is the most important things about yourself to share with others and that you want to do, right? So for me it was, I love taking photos or I love dancing. Simple things, but it makes it easier to achieve, right? Something as simple as like, yes, I'm looking for an apartment, or I need help with this something. I need help, right? I need help.
Some of the hardest words you can say.
Exactly, right? So when you talk about something, even if it be a problem or something you're looking for or something that you enjoy, right? That's when you can kind of receive it back to you.
The universe says yes.
Yes.
It's my favorite. If you put it like the universe will always respond positively, just to go a bit woo-woo on you. But yeah, totally for that. Support that 100%.
You put it out there, it'll come back to you. I am currently in the midst of putting things out there, just telling as many people as I can about about the next steps and what I'm going forward to do.
That's episode 11, guys.
Yes, that's our final. So we'll chat more about that after.
Come back to listen to us next time.
Yes. But it really does make a difference because someone that I didn't have any expectation has now presented me with this new opportunity. And I'm like, yes, this is what I needed. So it will come to you in your moment, but you just have to keep asking, keep telling.
And it gets cumbersome.
Yeah.
It gets hard.
And you're like, I'm repeating
Sorry,
yourself.
this is your point. I'll shut up.
No, it's good. It's you feel like you're repeating yourself, but it really is. It's important.
So important.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. My final detail of what I've learned. I mean, there's so many things that I feel like I've learned, but my final bullet point is
For
today. The beauty is in the small details. Whether that be walking down a new street, turning your head up to the left and looking at something you've never seen before. You're like, when did that building get there?
Why is that building
Yeah,
color?
they just built that. No. A small gift that you give to someone, right? And a note, even a handwritten note, or going to chat with your neighbors. Something that is intentional. Those small little details in our life really add up to the big things and add up to the beauty that we have around us, right? The nature around us, the small little things. It's all about the little details.
Man, you hit the nail on the head with that one.
Yes.
Thank you for speaking so candidly from your own experiences and from how lucky we are that we get to listen to what you've learned over the last 3 years. And I hope that our listeners can take something away, or if not, just be inspired to come and give it a go. Do something different because. Wow, what a wonderful world we live in, and how lucky are we to get to learn these things just on the daily.
Yeah.
And this has been such a lovely opportunity. And again, thank you for pushing me to do it, just to stop and reflect. Reflection is so important. And as you said before, there's probably so many other things that we've learned that we just give us 20 years and we'll come back to you.
Yes. But season 2 maybe.
And it was really fascinating listening to you and going, that's on my list, but you've just said it a different way.
Yeah.
And different perspectives, different people.
Right.
And
we didn't compare these lists before, which now listening to them, I'm so glad that we didn't. Because we didn't kind of sway, even though there is a lot of intertwining, right?
So much, yeah.
It's just a part of what happens when you move abroad or are doing something different outside your comfort zone. Yeah. The possibilities that there is for growth and being proud of yourself. You're like, yeah, you know what? I did it.
Just creating that space for growth, whether that's taking a new job, joining a new gym, moving to a new country, it doesn't have to be big. I mean, as we keep saying, we're on the extreme end of thing here, guys. You don't compare to us. But there's learning every day.
Yeah.
It's just if you're open to it or not.
Open your eyes and see.
Yeah. I think I wrote a song about that, didn't I?
I mean, I've heard multiple songs. There was some Louis Armstrong, What a Wonderful World thrown in there. Yeah. But I think we've hit our word count for tonight, maybe.
I think so. I'm all worded out.
Yeah.
On that note, these are our will do words.
If you can think it, then you can do it. So what will you do?
So as always, we love having you here listening to us. Please drop us some comments, give us some love, share with us what you've learned from your experiences. Because we're all about opening up that space for anyone who wants to join. And come back for our last episode of season 1.
Yes.
My goodness me, it has flown by.
It really has.
Wow. And see what we're up to for season 2, because I tell you what, there's some exciting plot twists coming up.
Yes, big and small.
So you can find us on YouTube, you can find us on Spotify or Instagram.
All along on our journey. We're happy to have you here. So thank you for listening. This is Will Do Words. We're your hosts, Carly
and Zoe.
Until next time.